The year 1919 was a time when black people fought back against a national epidemic of white mob violence and demanded full citizenship. I'll talk about it coming up. This is KRT, Critical Race Theory. It's not the one they teach in law schools, but the one banned in public schools. On July 27, 1919, an African-American teenager went swimming in Lake Michigan. Then a group of white kids saw him, started stoning him, causing him to drown. Well, the cops were called, but they refused to arrest the white man whom eyewitnesses said caused his drowning. This sparked a week of rioting between gangs of white and black Chicagoans, which was concentrated on the South Side neighborhood surrounding the stockyards. When the riots ended on August 3rd, 15 white and 23 black people had been killed and more than 500 people injured. An additional 1,000 black families had lost their homes when they were burned by rioters. That same year, Charleston, South Carolina, Longview, Texas, Bisbee, Arizona, Washington, D.C., Knoxville, Tennessee, Omaha, Nebraska, and Elaine, Arkansas, experienced a wave of anti-black violence, usually labeled race riots. In addition, white supremacists lynched nearly 100 people and initiated dozens of smaller racist clashes throughout 1919. In Pittsburgh, the Klan made clear the goal of this bloody work and printed notices posted around a black neighborhood. The notices said, quote, "The war is over. Negroes, stay in your place. If you don't, we'll put you there." Black veterans wearing their military uniforms in public, black children swimming in the white section of Lake Michigan, black sharecroppers in Arkansas organizing for better wages and working conditions, were met with white mob terror, broadcasting the message, quote, "Stay in your place." But in 1919, black people did not stay in their place. In Chicago, African Americans formed self-defense units after days of white terror in their neighborhoods. Many of these defenders were World War I veterans like Harry Haywood of the all-black 370th Infantry Division. He said, quote, "I had been fighting the wrong war. The Germans weren't the enemy. The enemy was right here at home." In Washington, D.C., 17-year-old Carrie Johnson opened fire on men breaking into her home while 1,000 white rioters laid siege to her neighborhood. In Anniston, Alabama, a black veteran, Sergeant Edgar Caldwell, was ordered out of the white section of a streetcar. He refused. The next thing you know, the white motorman and the conductor kicked him out of the car and began assaulting him. Caldwell pulled out his pistol and shot twice, killing one of his attackers. Though uncoordinated when looked at together, these hundreds of moments in 1919 read as an awesome display of collective black agency and self-preservation. Southern black Americans who had migrated to Washington, D.C. during the war had been competing for jobs in an atmosphere of mounting racial tension. Newspaper reports of rumored black violence against whites contributed to the tension. Following one such newspaper story, 200 sailors and Marines marched into the city, beating African-American men and women. A group of whites also tried to break through military barriers to attack black folks in their homes. And a group of black Americans, determined to fight back, boarded a streetcar and attacked the motormen and the conductors. African Americans also exchanged gunfire with whites who drove or walked through their neighborhoods. Another race riot occurred in August of 1919 in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was one of the worst racial episodes in Knoxville's history, causing many black residents to leave, with sporadic racial violence continuing in later years. Before the riot, Knoxville was considered one of the few racially tolerant cities in the South. However, post-World War I migration caused overcrowding, competition for jobs, and heightened tensions between black and white residents, just like in Chicago. It started when a light-skinned intruder allegedly killed Bertie Lindsay. That led to the arrest of Maurice Mays, who had been canvassing for the city's mayor that day. Although there was little evidence to support his guilt, a large crowd demanded his release and eventually stormed the jail. The mob looted the county jail and had a gun battle with residents of a predominantly black neighborhood. The Tennessee National Guard eventually dispersed the rioters. Local newspapers reported a varying number of deaths from the incident. In conclusion, the year 1919 was marked by a national epidemic of white mob violence against black Americans, resulting in dozens of deaths, injuries, and destruction of property. However, as black Americans were told to stay in their place, they fought back, demonstrating collective agency and self-preservation. The riots were fueled by competition for jobs and heightened tension between black and white residents, which were further exacerbated by media reports of rumored violence. The evidence of 1919 served as a wake-up call for the nation to address issues of racial injustice and discrimination and the continued fight for full citizenship and equality for all Americans. This has been Critical Race Theory. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.